Hi everybody, welcome to week 1, so this will cover the 20th to the 26th of May. For week 1, by next Sunday night at 11:59 p.m., so the 26th, you should have watched the welcome video, looked at the syllabus already, gotten familiar with the schedule of the course overall. You should have read chapters 1 and 2 from the textbook, which are posted in the textbook tab on Blackboard. You should have posted in week 1 discussion board, so again, the discussions tab on the left side of Blackboard. And then you should complete quiz 1, which should be available under quizzes and exams on the tab on Blackboard as well. So all those things should be done for this week. So just a very quick introduction to this week. So chapters 1 and 2 is what we're going to be covering during this week. So chapter 1 focuses on sort of looking at psychology, what it is, and sort of choosing a major and career. So the definition that the book gives for psychology is the scientific study of behavior, anything an animal or person does, feels, or thinks. So pretty wide definition, and honestly, psychology is a pretty sort of wide field. And that's good in a lot of ways, I think. And so we start sort of just doing a brief overview in this chapter about what we can do with the psych degree. A lot of times students are unaware of what options are open if you do decide to major in psychology, which a lot of you likely have. So again, psychology is a pretty big field, a lot of sub-disciplines. A lot of times we often think of psychology as being therapy only, and certainly that's not the case. Certainly there are a lot of individuals who go into therapy. However, lots of different sort of subfields that have nothing to do with doing therapy. Certainly there's a lot of different knowledge and skills that you're going to get from a psych degree that prepare you for a lot of different kinds of jobs. Being able to think critically and analytically is one really important thing, or skill that the psychology courses that you are either going to take, you have taken, or should take will help you. How to solve problems and really how to learn. And so, like I said, one of the biggest ones is sort of critical and analytical thinking skills. So a lot of stuff in psychology is theoretical. So a lot of your courses is going to teach you how to think in theory and how to use theory to drive research, and how that research in return can help us in everyday life in one aspect or another. And so that's just a very brief overview of chapter 1. And then chapter 2 is talking about clinical and counseling psychology. So as I talked a little about before, the program that I'm in currently is a PsyD program, which is a clinical psychology doctorate degree here at Indiana State. Certainly clinical psychology is close to my heart, and clinical psychology, very, very briefly, essentially is the identification, assessment, and treatment of mental illness. How can we identify what's going on with somebody? How can we assess accurately what is happening, and how do we treat that? One of the biggest things in this chapter, I think, is a distinction between clinical PhDs and PsyDs. So as you'll learn, there are different kinds of clinical degrees. And so that'll be one thing moving forward that I know will be tested on. I think it comes in both the quiz and the final exam, is that distinction. So there's a little bit difference in training. So PsyDs tend to focus more on producing clinicians. So taking the research that has been done in psychology and applying it to the treatment of individuals with mental health issues, as opposed to clinical PhDs oftentimes focus more on producing researchers or producing research, individuals who can produce research, do research. So I'm just going to leave it there. Lots of more information. Certainly that doesn't cover everything, but you're responsible for reading chapters 1 and 2. And again, discussion posts and quiz for this week. All right, I hope you have a good week.